Good morning, friends.
Hello.
It is a very cold day outside. I've already gone outside and taken care of the chickens. Well, at the time that I went out, it was 12 degrees for us in Texas. That's insane. Crazy insane.
Definitely.
Even my gloves didn't hold up too good. So my fingers were frozen by the time I came back inside from getting them water, checking their food, making sure everybody's okay. So it was pretty insane. But anyways, we're gonna get started with breakfast. I'm gonna make Dutch baby pancakes. Dutch baby pancakes. Why is that so hard to say?
Say it 30 times fast.
I will not. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with that and show you some pictures of what it looks like outside. Okay, so it is afternoon time, and I actually decided I'm going to make some cookies. It is freezing outside, and I figured we just needed a nice warm snack of some sort. So, cookies it is. And Chris loves double chocolate anything. So, I'm going to set you down here real quick. I'm going to use this Grains in Small Places Fresh Milled Flour Cookbook. She also has a YouTube channel, and I'm going to make this double chocolate chip cookies. It calls for white chocolate chips, but I'm going to use just regular ones because I don't have any white ones, and I think Chris will appreciate the regular chocolate chips. He loves everything double chocolate, so that's what I'm going to make. It'll be my first time making this particular recipe. I've made other things in this cookbook, and we loved everything so far. So I can't imagine why this will be any different. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is weigh out my soft white wheat berries. Oops. So I'm going to go ahead and zero this out. Zero that out. And then we need 320 grams of soft white wheat berries. I'll fill this one up. What did I say? 320. Going for 320. Oops. A little over. I apologize if you can hear the vacuum in the background. I have my little robot vacuum going. With as many animals as we have, that thing is always working. All right, I've got our 320 grams of soft white wheat. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that in my grain mill here. And I just have a KitchenAid grain mill. I don't have a fancy one yet. Maybe one day. But I'm going to go ahead and get this attached. And make sure I get it nice and tight, because we definitely don't want it falling down. And I already have it set to the how fine I want the grain, and I just kind of leave it there. It's kind of midway between the smaller and the larger settings, so that's kind of where I like it. All right, and I'm just going to get this started. So I got all of my, let's see, got all of my ingredients all measured out, and I did use my scale for everything. I just did a bowl, zeroed it out, and then put in how many grams each thing said it needed to be in each of the bowls. So I got all of my ingredients set up. Now I'm just going to wait for this to finish and then get started on the next thing. We're done now. I'm going to take this off and give it a good shake. Just make sure we get everything from out of in here. Whoop. Sorry about the banging. All right, I think we got it. So now I'm just going to put this back together again, and then we're just going to keep on using the KitchenAid for this next part too. So next step is getting our dry ingredients all together. So to the flour, we're going to add our cocoa powder, and I already measured everything out, so now we just have to dump and go. So the cocoa powder, the baking soda, okay, 1 teaspoon of baking soda is half a teaspoon of salt. There we go. And now we'll just give this a mix up. Next step is going to be our wet ingredients. I'm going to soften it up in the microwave. Okay, our butter is softened now, so that's going to go in nice. We're going to add both of our sugars, so our white sugar and our brown sugar. And I make my own brown sugar. I just buy sugar in bulk, and then I make my own brown sugar and also powdered sugar. Okay, I'm going to beat the butter and sugars together. Scrape down the sides a little bit and then continue beating it together. Okay, then we're going to add our vanilla. 1 teaspoon. Vanilla's in, and now we're going to beat that together. Of course, now that smells completely amazing. All right, now we're going to add our eggs. I'm going to crack the eggs into a small bowl each, since they are from our chickens. Just want to make sure they look good before I put them into the work I've already done. So 1, and 2. Good looking eggs. Give it all a good scrape. Make sure everything gets all combined and blended together nice. All right. Okay, now I'm going to go back to using the KitchenAid. I like using the hand blender better for making sure all my wet ingredients are nice and mixed together. And then I'll just go back to the KitchenAid to blend everything all together with the flour. So we have our flour cocoa mixture here. And again, I used soft white wheat in the that I milled in the grain mill. And now we're going to mix all of this together. Get all of that yummy goodness in there. All right, I'll get this set up and mix it all together. I'm going to start off slow so I don't slosh it everywhere. And then as the flour and everything starts to get wet, and then I'll increase the speed a little bit to get it all mixed together really well. Okay, I think we got it. That is some good looking chocolate dough here. Okay. It's a little thicker than I thought it would be, just based on other chocolate chip cookies that I've made. But like I said, this is the first time I'm making this particular recipe, so hopefully that is how it is supposed to be. Next, we're going to add in our chocolate chips, and I'm just going to give it a light mix to get them all incorporated. I use the mixer to incorporate all the chocolate chips, but I'm still going to give it a good turn with the spatula. Like I said, it's a lot thicker than I imagined it would be, so hopefully this is going to come out good. So this is what it's looking like, very chocolatey all the way around. Okay, here we go. This is definitely making a whole lot of cookies, so we are going to have to find somebody to share these cookies with. And these cookies are ready to go in. They bake for 9 to 10 minutes, and then they'll cool on the baking sheet, and then we will continue making the rest of the batter. I have found that my oven usually is the higher end, or maybe even higher time-wise for things that recipes call for. So I wouldn't be surprised if this maybe takes more like 12 to 15 minutes for these cookies. But hopefully they're going to be good. I love a good chocolate chip cookie too. Okay, we have our cookies. So we had double chocolate chip cookie success. Chris loved them. I love them, probably a little bit too much. So I am going to get those put away, and maybe we can find some friends to share them with, or maybe the kids will come over and once they see this video and come and get some. And I realized I also have Girl Scout cookies coming because we ordered Girl Scout cookies because who can resist and say no to a Girl Scout? Um, so we're going to have a lot of cookies to eat up over these next few days. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get started putting together dinner. My goal with this dinner is to use up a lot of things from our pantry and fridge, but mostly the pantry. I have a lot of stuff to go through because we just got approval finally for the construction that I talked about many videos ago. I'd actually cleared out the pantry to get ready for that. And then it got stalled for months. So I actually have stuff back in the pantry again. So I'd like to just use up as much as we can before they start working on it. It's going to be a while before they can start working on it. It's really cold right now. There's sleet and snow and ice and everything. So hopefully we can get through a lot of the things in the pantry and I don't have to move as much out of there. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get started pulling out the things for tonight's dinner. This is one of my favorite kind of meals to make, the kind where you just kind of build it from what you already have in your pantry or your fridge, whatever you have. So everything that's going in this dish is either from our pantry or also from the freezer. The tomatoes were home canned, the tomato sauce that you'll see me using. These vegetables were freeze dried, the onions were dehydrated, and the beans have been sitting on my shelf for a while, just ready for a day just like this. I do also have beans that I actually grew this past year that I canned, but I still had some from the grocery store, so you'll see me using that today so I can get it all used up. And this is exactly why I love keeping food stored. Even on normal, ordinary days, we can put together a hearty, comforting meal without needing to run to the store. I can't remember where I heard it, somebody that I was watching on YouTube, but it said to salt your water like you're trying to salt the ocean. And now I'm browning some ground beef from the freezer to build the base for the pantry pasta. Once this is ready, everything else just is going to get added to the pot and it all comes together in a really hearty, cozy meal. And here I'm adding the tomato sauce that I canned this, I think it was in December. I grew all the tomatoes in this garden this past year and then I froze them until I finally had time to can them all up into tomato sauce. So I put in 2 pints there. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my rehydrated veggies that you saw just a little bit ago. And mixed veggies and onions, so convenient to have. And then my can of black beans are going in. And then this is some Italian seasoning that I mixed together myself. And then I also have onion powder and garlic powder that's going in. And I'll give this all a great big mix. For meals like this, I don't really follow a strict recipe. I just start with what we have and build it out from there. Everything goes into the pot, it gets a really good stir, and then it just simmers until it turns into something warm and comforting. This is the kind of cooking that I really enjoy, simple and flexible and made from whatever that I already have on hand. Ground meat is pretty lean and there is not much grease in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and scoop it on in. Probably could have done less pasta to sauce ratio, but isn't that the problem that we always have? Always doing too much pasta and not enough sauce. That's okay. It'll all get eaten up and that is totally fine. This is what it looks like. And then I'll get it plated up, I'll put some cheese on it, and we are about to have dinner. I did not have mozzarella cheese shredded up, and I really didn't feel like getting it done right now, so I am just going to use cheddar cheese on top of this, and it'll be just fine. And then for Chris's, I'm going to put some red pepper flakes on it. He likes his a little spicy, but I am not a super spicy kind of girl, so I'll put it on his. Maybe just a few more. And this will be the dinner for tonight. Thank you so much for visiting with us today. Please feel free to hit that like button and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great day.